Off the Hip Nation, we are here.
Where the bosses sit, stunning everything in sight. Whether it's in the bloodline or corporate, walk me out there with a big smile. No handcuff by officers. Hold on, wait, I think they lost the script. We got some shooters.
It's your brother HD, my brother Razor, my brother Snake Eyes.
Chilling at the head of the table where the bosses sit, stunning everything in sight. Whether it's in the bloodline or corporate.
Yes, sir.
Walk me out there with a big smile. No handcuff by officers. Hold on, wait, I think they lost the script. We got some shooters. Pow. It's off the hip. Chilling at the head of the table where the bosses sit, stunning everything in sight. Whether it's in the bloodline or corporate, walk me out the arena, big smile, no handcuffed by officers. Hold on, wait, I think they lost the script. We got some shooters. It's off the hip.
Yes, sir, man. Y'all see it on the screen. Y'all see it. We coming in hot. Unwelcome your thoughts. Off the hip. I gave y'all the introductions at the top. Lil Jimmy, Razor, Uzi, HD. We are here. My brother, how you feeling today? I see
Man,
you start
I'm
on. Let me take
incredible.
it off. Let's go. Hold on. We gotta show I see it. The people cannot see it. I gotta show them what you have on right now.
You already know what it is.
Yes, sir. Let's go, man. Let's go, man.
In the Halloween spirit.
I like it. Oh yeah, man. Gotta get my best booker on. Yes, sir. Man, that's a sweet ass mask. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really like that right there.
Yeah, it is. Hot as shit, though.
Man, that's your hair too, right?
Yes, sir.
Man, your hair is giving it it's giving it that ambiance to it as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? See, right now I'm holding the championship that The Rock introduced right now, and I feel like it's giving me Hurt Business vibes. It's giving me Bobby Lashley MVP. You know, people might not like that take an opinion, but it is what it is, baby. The Hurt Business. I wish I had my Hurt Business shirt. You feel me? Like, we are here. Look at the
We ain't
QR
playing
code.
no games.
Not playing no games. Chad, before we move along, the QR code Off the Hip official theme entrance song for the channel. Y'all can check it out right there. Pull out your phones, take a screenshot, do what you gotta do. Go show love, go show support. We out here working. Man, Chad, I hope y'all had an amazing weekend. There's been a lot of wrestling going on. My voice still feel a little lost from Friday. There's been a lot of confusion in the air, a lot of spoilers, a lot of continuity.
Just a
I
little
don't
bit.
just a little bit. I don't want to say issues with continuity, but we trying to find our place within continuity land. Like, shall we just get into it? I don't know if you can hear my TV. Let me lower this a little bit over here. Got the headphones, noise cancellation, can't really hear. But yeah, tonight we get Jimmy and Jay having a confrontation, or like, you know, that truce that I thought we should have got before the hug. Where you stand on that?
I got so many questions, but I'm afraid I'm going to make things more complicated.
No, I want to dive right into it. I think it's only right because I'm gonna be honest. There was a lot of things that transpired on SmackDown. A lot of
A
things,
lot.
a lot of things that transpired on SmackDown on Raw, and I'll be remiss if I didn't say that with everything that's going on, the Bloodline storyline is also given to other people. They're still putting other people over in the process, a la Braun Breaker with Jey Uso, a la Motor City Machine Guns coming in and scooping up off the Bloodline, and in a great way. Like, there was some good storytelling how everything happened there.
And
Even
let's
though
not
it's
forget reintroducing a very, very unlikely connection.
man,
We'll get to that.
we'll get to it. So there's a lot going on right now, and I just want to say, I said all that to say that going into Raw and seeing what we see, it's almost hard to not say that the Bloodline is the most important storyline once again going on in the WWE.
Going on 5 years strong.
Man,
When was the last time you seen a story like this?
and is going strong on both shows once again.
What, NWO? Last time we saw something last this long, maybe?
And NWO, it was forced. I mean, and then again, I say forced because by the time we got to NWO 2000, that shit was a wash.
And this still feels natural. This is like season 3 of Game of Thrones, damn near.
And then NWO had one. To me, their intriguing storyline was that they was the outsiders from WWF coming into WCW. Once that was out the playbook, it's kind of like, yeah, what else y'all got?
Where is this? I
I
don't
think
care if there's maybe it's because they're not in the Screen Actors Guild, but some of these people need Oscar awards. The producers need awards. Hell, make Triple H the executive producer for all and give him awards. This
yeah, I'm
stuff
gonna be.
and money, like again,
It's unprecedented, bro. You don't never see. Okay, what Saturday Night Live is probably the only thing you're gonna get on a week to week basis. Like, but even this is twice a week. We getting double the
3 feet
fun.
on NXT.
There you go. So that's 7 hours of program. Well, at this point, 6 hours of programming. It used to be seven. Might be going back to 7 hours of programming.
Could
Even
go to
maybe
8.
eight. Maybe going to eight weekly.
And then you add 3 hours for PLE, 4 if it's a big 4.
Hmm. I'm saying, and like you said, a lot of people don't give. I don't even like to just call them wrestlers. I know that they're professional wrestlers, and that's what they would like to be called, sports. And I look at them as talent because that's what they are to me, talented individuals. That's why I always call them talent. You know what I'm saying? Because, like you said, it
Just always
goes,
wanted to be entertainers.
yeah, like it's so much talent that they have and possess. Like even down to when Jacob goes out there and he's I love you so like you know what I'm saying. He's giving the ambiance to everything, bringing him in. As long as the families help, that's another thing with the NWO. You added more members, it didn't feel organic. You bring in family members, so as long as they're really family, there's a real connection and everybody's healthy and learning. There's a place. You
The
know what I'm
place,
saying?
there's
More
a
some
purpose, and
PLEs
there's
on
a
two
reason.
days. Yeah. But we was more like you see, Cat. We was like, yeah, you ain't lying here. We was more talking about on a week to week television
But again,
episodic level.
with
But
Mania
yeah, 2 days.
SummerSlam, that's 8 hours. That's potentially 8 hours extra instead
I,
of
I
4 hours extra.
I see a future. I'm gonna be
So
honest. I see a
so some
future.
weeks on those big weeks, 16 hours out of your week.
I see a future where we could either have every PLE is gonna be 2 nights, or almost if not 2 nights. This night is NXT, and the next night is the PLE.
I wouldn't be more shocked if the big ones still get 3.5, 4 hours, but these smaller ones, with the exception, yeah, probably all the rest of the smaller ones will probably be more of that NXT vibe where it's 2.5 hours on average.
Or this 5 match format that people seem to have a bug about.
Hey, we're getting 6 this weekend at least.
Maybe seven if you including the Roman stuff. I don't know what they doing with that,
Allegedly.
which adds to the confusion again for the night. Like I'm here. Listen, I'm
But
here for it.
this is essentially the Saudi Arabian WrestleMania. So
It's
again,
looking like it.
Saudi
I mean,
could be
Crown
getting
Jewel.
a big show a year. They want a WrestleMania.
I mean, Crown Jewel. I mean, by all means and definitions, Crown Jewel is supposed to be the grand, the grand Hyatt, the grand. You know what I'm saying? The biggest, like you said, it's the WrestleMania of jewels. So Crown Jewel should live up to fantasy matchups and then. But my only concern with that was expediting storylines like we're doing now because I feel like when we ask these questions, right? Like we just spoke about this on Friday. When by SummerSlam, we was like, where do we see ourselves in October? I don't think we seen ourselves getting rushed like this.
We are so far off from our predictions. It's both entertaining and alarming. Because again, one concern I'm starting to have is potentially The Rock doing what Vince used to do and suddenly change it on the fly because he feels she needs to happen now. Because that's what he's used to. We don't know what's going on because a lot of shit that's been going on that seems definitely seems off.
And you know what's also like it's not so much alarming, but I take away from it. Like I pay attention to it when The Rock mentioned on that documentary trucking through, and he said this is something that's often done in the industry. So that's why sometimes when I feel like, oh, are they going back to the what they know to do best?
And,
Like,
and trucking through is fine, but this is one of those rare times where, hey, newsflash, you don't need it.
and I'm gonna be
Everything was
honest,
moving just fine before you came back.
I seen it firsthand in person. The way if they can utilize Roman Reigns in just 10 minutes of on air time a night, then there's a way to draw out this whole thing. But
But
when
also, these expeditions could also lead to one thing. It's been all but confirmed that before Raw goes to Netflix come January, we're getting a draft. Could this be laying the foundation for that? It's possible, and that might be the only thing to justify all this chaos. But I mean, think about it. Pierce and Aldis have both been on Raw and SmackDown as of late. What are the chances we see all this on Raw?
I mean, like I said, I've touched on this before. I think that we shouldn't have to wait a whole year for a superstar shakeup. I think 6 months into the programming, we can have a few because okay, like for example, Cody beat AJ within the first month of WrestleMania, got him out the way.
I was
Um,
trying to relive that match, but you brought it up.
right. So now, what do we do with AJ? We could have sent him to Raw and had some fresh things going on over there. We just keep him off TV over here because he already done ran his course with Cody. You're not gonna really put him in the like they had him in the US title picture about a year ago. So you don't want to spend a block on that again. Like, so that's your time to switch him over.
I love how you just blew right past what I touched on a couple weeks ago.
And what's that?
What's wrong with him going to NXT?
I mean, let's get to the reports. There's been, and I don't believe everything I read, but we just gonna touch on reports that's
Oh,
out
oh,
there.
you want me to go there right now?
Yeah, the TNA
Okay,
stuff.
okay. So Bound for Glory this past weekend, phenomenal show. Again, unfortunately, there were two injuries with Hijo del Vikingo and Chris Bay. I wish them a speedy recovery. They're both very serious injuries, but again, it's all over the news. If you guys want to do your research, it's there. Thoughts and prayers with both of them. On that note, this Bound for Glory is essentially TNA's WrestleMania. So they do their own version of a Hall of Fame. This year, one of the inductees was none other than Rhino. There was rumors that AJ was going to be inducted this year. However, WWE denied it. I find that extremely hard to believe for two reasons. One, all the progress in restoring the partnership between WWE and TNA over the years, and also TNA is where AJ Styles became a star. That man was the foundation, the pillar of TNA from their inception. When Jeff Jarrett first created TNA, AJ Styles was his golden goose, and that was the man. So for again, I'm not sure if it was 5 or whoever. I'm not sure how this rumor came about. I find it extremely hard to believe because it, it it seems unheard of. It's impossible for me to believe that.
No, and that part I'm not buying into. The more part that I'm looking into that came out that report is that allegedly AJ is willing to compete in TNA, which is not hard to believe for me because, like you said, He made his name there. He was the golden goose. So I would like to see him back in TNA just to, have some fun again. If we're not gonna do nothing with him on SmackDown, just have him, keep being active in these latter parts of his career right now.
Now, we often joke on, or AJ joked on SmackDown as a house that he built. The first house that he built was total nonstop action wrestling, where he pioneered the show as a whole. He pioneered what we now know as the X Division. This man is TNA. Much like Bobby Roode, much like Abyss, much like Petey Williams, you name it. Sanjay Dutt over in AEW, Jeff Jarrett, those guys are TNA. And again, for AJ, I feel it's only appropriate to let the man visit his home once in a while.
And again, if there's not a superstar shakeup, then things like this should happen where, okay, you sending the main roster talent over to TNA or NXT. Keep them going.
I mean,
Like,
Shinsuke's going to be in Japan in January. What's
I
stopping
was
AJ
just
from
gonna
going down
mention
the
him.
block?
I was just gonna mention him. Yeah. Like, I mean, and then maybe some people, they don't have a spot on the in the rotation right now, so to speak. Like, there's a lot of stuff going on as to where a Shinsuke, we done had him as IC champion, and we done have him in the heavyweight championship fight. We done had him as a tag team champion with Rick Boogs. We done
Over
seen,
NXT champion.
right. We done, again, maybe a dude that's well suited going back to NXT and having a good run down there with these dudes.
And again, at minimum, he's going to make the young crop there better.
Man, bro, it would be crazy. Shin, Ethan Page, Shin, Trick. You just keep going down the list. Javon,
I wouldn't be
Sean
surprised if
Spears. I'd
I would
even
be
throw Sean
surprised if
Spears.
Shinsuke Nakamura and Tony D'Angelo put on a classic match.
Man,
Or again, we can get Sean Spears versus either one of them.
Chen, the dude Chen, is he Japanese or Chinese? I'm not sure.
Dante Chen, I'm not sure.
Like, Shinsuke could go start his own family faction down there. Like, you know what I'm saying? If he, like,
Or again, just imagine them on a TNA crossover.
I always said too, he should be the guy. He should be like the Edge of Damage Control. Remember when I said they should pair Shinsuke up with Io Sky and Oscar and them? Like, I feel like, and I'm not saying to be their manager, he could get, but it wouldn't hurt to have the females that's dominant also by his side when he's working.
Dante's from Singapore.
Okay, so maybe, like, I mean, if they was to find a way to, like, incorporate a friendship between them, but not just, there's no real direct Japanese connection there, so I wouldn't go that route with them. I wouldn't do no put Yoko and Wild in the LWO shit. Oh man. But I
How the
definitely do.
fuck is that a thing?
I always said put Bobby Lashley in the LWO if we doing that.
Put
Remember how
Cody
many
Rhodes, put Bailey in there.
Fuck it. Put the elites in there. Like, what? I'm in favor of the only thing is, I'm gonna say this. You do a draft around January or right before Netflix, does it take away if they do another draft after Mania? Does it feel too soon?
Well, all folks have said is that it's likely we're gonna get one before the Netflix stuff starts.
Or do you
So,
feel like, because sometimes I feel like the way it's been done, this whole draft shit, soon, I see you out there, brother. I feel like the whole draft shit becomes a bit cringy sometimes, too.
the only way the draft is gonna work is if you make actual changes that would benefit both sides. If you gotta swap a certain top guy over, no big deal. And you have to make NXT feel a part of it as well. They got their own show now. They got their own piece of the pie. Let them grow. This would be a perfect chance for them to grow. There's been talk of Obafemi coming to Raw sometime soon after he lost to Tony D'Angelo. There's been talk of Last Legend Jakar Jackson and bringing apart from Metaphor being a part of the main roster.
I
It's
like
time to.
Obafemi, but he's missing something. Like,
Yeah, he's not ready yet. I'm gonna be
yeah, he's
talented,
missing
yes, but
something.
you match him up against guys like Ilya, Braun Strowman. It's not gonna work. They'll eat him alive.
And even presentation alone, like I didn't see the whole match between him and Tony D, but I seen the entrances, seen some of the match, and Tony D just looked like, okay, when Oba had the strap, money. Him coming in as the challenger, I was like,
I'm gonna be honest. He looked a little goofy in his ring walk. He didn't look as serious.
he didn't look as serious. There you go. I'm on
And
there with
again,
you.
you're a fucking monster. You shouldn't be dancing around. Another thing that I didn't like in that match, recently they teased something possibly with him and Nikita Lyons. Now, I would have been perfectly fine if Ogro would have came out after Family Guy beat up, and then maybe incorporate Nikita in that segment and have Oba win the belt. Something, I don't know. Just the way that match ended killed a lot of steam for both of them. For me personally,
Yeah, it feels like we're heading in a different direction with them, and that direction I'm quite not sure of. It felt
yeah.
like this little run that Oba was on. It felt like, they obviously
The match
showed
itself
him
was
on.
incredible. I'm not gonna take that away from him. That match was amazing to watch.
No, but yeah, just on the eye for me, it felt like there's something missing. Like he could spend another couple of months in NXT, and I won't be mad at it because they obviously bring up it was him and who else was it? Roxanne on them episodes of Raw and SmackDown where they just had them by the barricades at ringside watching.
It's been Trick.
It was him and Trick, or
No, yeah,
just
Trick's
Trick.
been there, Roxy's been there, Lash and Jakara have been there.
Okay, 'cause I thought Oba was there 1 week, but if he
He might have been
wasn't,
there for APLE, I think.
okay. So I thought that was them, like kind of okay. Maybe
Just
we might,
yeah,
but yeah, that
but
ring
yeah.
walk for me wasn't it. I think as the champion, he can do that because it's showing confidence, a little bit of cockiness. As the challenger, I would have wanted more of a serious entrance out of him. Now again, that's just nitpicking, but that's presentation. Because if he goes doing that shit on the main roster, I don't know, it might not work well for him.
And then not long after that, we got a very interesting segment involving Lexus King.
Man,
So I'm not sure if you caught that or not, but he's looking for some, I guess, some like a corner man for his Heritage Cup match against Charlie Dempsey. His corner man this Tuesday will be none other than William Regal,
hmm
the father of Charlie Dempsey. Now, I'm not sure what to make out of this, but it's going to be very interesting to see Regal ringside while his son is in a match. I don't think we'd see that this soon or in general for that matter.
I don't know what to think of it, and I like that because part of me is like, Sir William Regal is the ultimate heel. He can't be trusted. But then part of him is that dude that he does know Brian Pillman. He does know his father. This can be genuine.
So that's one of those matchups where, regardless of what happens, I'm very interested in both avenues. Him being with the no quarter catch crew, or him starting with Brian Pillman. But also, a lot of the AEW folks are going to be in an uproar because they're going to be like, "Oh, he's just copying the BCC, copying, or we're going to show you how to do it right." Sorry about it. Not sorry.
And remember, this been in play for a while now because there was a portion of Regal when he couldn't appear on NXT television for the first year. Remember? So
Right.
this been in the works. This isn't just happening, folks. This like we've been seeing Charlie Dempsey. We've been talking about it for months. Him, Tavia.
But I'm gonna be honest. Should Regal not side with his son, I would be very interested to see how Dempsey's uh, elevated mic will fare against his father's. I would be at the edge of my seat for that to see how much he's actually learned
And
and
I
to watch
think
Regal
that's
tear him down.
so. Who's going into that match as the heel? Because I'm feeling like they're positioning
Well,
Lexus
it's definitely been the no quarter catch crew as the heels.
right. So how do you make them more hated? You make Regal seem like he's gonna help Lexus, and then he just pulls the switch on him, father
Yeah,
and son. That's what I'm thinking.
or if you want to be a baby face for the time being, you have Dempsey beat the shit out of Lexus King,
Hmm.
and you have Dempsey win with a Regal lock. As he's staring as his father down.
Mm.
Maybe you
I'm
could
going
throw
either
in
or. That's
maybe you could
crazy.
throw a Regal in a throw in the towel segment potentially. NXT's done that a couple of times in the past because he knows what his son is capable of because that is his seed, and that would be a very entertaining story. And also, it would slowly build up Lexus King. There's a lot of ways they can do this that can work.
I I know
But
I'm about
I
to
honestly
sit
I
here.
think it would be better if it might benefit Dempsey more in the long run should he not link up with his father. I mean, it does great, but I think it'd be better if he doesn't click up with them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is a chance where we're not like salivating for a father son because we've seen Ray and Dom and it's been there already. But I say this, it's kind of reversed because I think Charlie Dempsey has done good on his own as to where like when Dom came in, he was kind of with Ray, right? So we was waiting for that break apart to happen. I kind of want to see what him and his father on Demon Timing can do.
Hmm
Like that'll be
There's
fucking
a
like
like I
wow.
said, there's about 8 different options, and all of them would be fun to watch.
All of them. All of them would be fun to watch. I just wanted to go left real quick because I'm like, again, I started at the show by saying I got Raw playing right in front of me again. And right now they got Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins going at it. I wanted to get your thoughts on that. Like, I'm starting to feel like this
I wasn't a
backstage
big fan of
spot,
this
yeah,
because
like they taking away from the fun of these backstage spots with every week. This is just Bronson Reed's spot, the backstage
it's
madness.
just not even that. It's every fucking baby face. It's Seth does it, Cody does it. Everyone's been doing it,
My thing is, bro, I said
and
I've been calling
you
for a
know when you
parking
go
lot
back
brawl back.
there, you're gonna get snaked.
But it's just like it's crazy because the segment started with Seth in the ring and Bronson backstage. So Seth went running back there to go get him, right? Like I just want this to culminate in a parking lot brawl match, and then I'm fine.
It'll
All
be
is
a
well.
regular
Or,
one on one
or
in
back,
Saudi.
yeah. But
If
either of these
anything,
matches, like even with him and Braun Strowman, remember when it just became a
either
last
Seth,
monster standing?
and what's sad is Seth will probably win clean. That's the sad part. Like
Well, I mean, Seth kind of said
Bronson
it.
has to beat the dog shit out of him and beat him. If you
Seth
run it
summed it
back at
up.
Survivor
You
Series, it's
want to
not
be
cool.
famous.
Fine.
Seth summed it up. You want to be famous? I'm gonna make you famous, and that's been the whole point of this. Seems like mission accomplished. We got Bronson on the map. I just feel like, again, this is one of those matches that I'm I like. I want to preserve Seth Rollins. We seen everything he's went through going into last WrestleMania. I would try to preserve him as much as I can. I feel like he probably didn't need to be doing
Sure,
this much
we've
work.
barely seen him all year, and he still ends up getting hurt.
This is why, like, having these backstage segments, like I just watched the spot. Seth just you know, Bronson Reed did the fireman's carry from the truck onto the
Mhm.
table with the equipment on it. Like, how many times have we seen Braun and Bronson get into these spots and Braun Strowman's getting hurt, whether it's the backstage with the cars or in the ring. Like, these are high spots, and I think
They
for
better
Seth
fall on
Rollins,
a
I
bed
want
of marshmallows.
to give us one of those angles where like we can't even see what they landed on for like 5 seconds, and then and then like
You mean
when
one
they
of those
do
spots where
show,
like they fall and they're just in the shadow? We can't even see them on camera.
yep, and then 5 seconds later they take away the crash pads and you see them on the floor laid out, like, one of those spots or something.
What I didn't like is now it's local medical center.
Well, well, I heard a story. I don't know how accurate it is, and I don't remember the source. People were saying that people were calling into the
Find
real
what hospital they're at.
hospitals, yeah, and going and the
Okay,
the
you can just
fandom,
say HIPAA. We can't tell you. Stupid.
right? Like, man, work. They don't want to work,
If you ain't family legally, we can't tell you.
man.
Even if you
I,
are family legally, we can't tell you.
I think the pace of Raw at 2 hours, aside from the first week, has been
They're getting
it's
better.
been it's been better, and with no disrespect to any of the storylines, you kind of see where they trim the fat on certain things.
Yeah, but also keep taking account. This was a go home show.
For Yep, yep, for sure. So it's like you got Crown Jewel coming up. Some of these matches, like that's the also the pace of what I said confusion, because you got the Usos kind of like they did the segment on Friday, which they hugged it out, and then tonight they go into the segment where Jay is kind of like saying, "Bro, I had to go do all of this on my own," and I felt like it should have been reversed. We should have got that moment, which we had tonight, that dialect between them a little sooner. Then we could have got what happened on Friday, in my opinion. I could be wrong, chat, but that's where I'm at with it.
You
It's
should
not
have got
that big.
that bad blood.
Mm.
I'm just saying.
We could have. I mean, for all intents and
Would have did it
purposes,
at SummerSlam too.
if we're gonna rush it, then I mean, like, you had them both in the same building that night.
But here we are. But what made it more interesting was Mr. Honorary Oos interjecting himself in that little conversation between the brothers.
Sammy's back in the fold, which again, I don't know if you remember that I predicted, okay, Sammy was gonna tell Jay, yo, nah, you should listen to your brother Jimmy.
I believe you and Snake called it.
Then it's kind of like we're getting a version of that, but it's not as easy. Like, they taking a little complex road.
Oh no, it's definitely complex.
Yeah,
Let's not sell that short.
yeah, it's complex. They're not taking the easy road with us, because as we seen later, we get Solo and Sammy talking, and Jay spots it. I mean, Jimmy
Mhm.
spots it, and he starts smiling like, like
I'm gonna say smile. It's one of those.
it was one of those like, I fucking knew it. Like, but you know what's interesting? Since when? Correct me if I'm wrong. Aside from when they had the tag team match, when did Jimmy and Sammy start building this bad? Because again, I went back and I watched the War Games match. The commentator said Roman sent Sammy in there to tag with the only person of the bloodline he hasn't been able to get along with, Jay Uso. Where's this like negative? Is it okay? Because he was on Jay's side of breaking free from the bloodline. I get that portion, yes, but he doesn't really. He shouldn't, in my opinion, he shouldn't have that much ill will towards Jimmy like that.
Well, if you remember when Sammy gave Roman that chair shot, Jimmy is the one who super kicked him.
Okay, so it's like kick off all that.
And when Jay bowed out, like, I trusted you. You did this. How could you do this to me? I trusted you. And he's like, I can't do this.
And that's what Jay hits that line tonight. You don't understand. You're not family. And that's why, like Jimmy, I always felt all his actions are to me like they have valid reasoning. He's doing it for family. He never did no shit out of pocket because when he went against Roman, it was for Jay's honor.
Mm-hmm.
When he felt like he had to do shit against his family, it was for Roman's honor.
And what did he tell Solo a couple weeks ago? Why you tearing the family apart?
Hmm.
Um,
Causing the divide. Yeah, and that's been Jimmy's whole shit. Jimmy's been always, yo, we always should be together. That's why I always felt Jimmy's, and the only part of Jimmy's character arc I didn't enjoy was when they made him too like he lost all resistance. He was all the way in, being a fool, giving himself high fives. It was just like he was on clown timing.
but also remember
It was funny.
that also gave us Crash Out Jey Uso, which we're slowly getting back to. Because now we're gonna get back to he gonna look Sam in the eyes. Now I got to get you.
Which is kind of like I guess we got to get Jay on the more meaner side to be back on the blood, or like I don't know what's going on with that, but it's gonna be interesting to see because I even felt in his tone of voice the way he told Sammy, you're not family. It was kind of like he had some oomph behind how he said that. Now maybe it's because that line hit so hard, like it just real, like you wouldn't understand. You're not family. Like it's maybe one of those instances, but he kind of told him in a way that was a little bit different from how I'm used to hearing Jay speak in recent months.
So I know everyone's been predicting Sam is gonna be in the War Games match. What if he's on Solo's team?
That'd be a curveball.
That's what it's kind of leaning towards now.
Who would we put? Is this when we will finally get the Talatunga? Or am I? Because I feel like we can't put nobody new with the original bloodline. Like, but maybe we can.
Well, there's a couple options we can go to. I mean, one of them seems unlikely right now, but again, the way they've been rushing shit, I wouldn't put it past them if they do it right. But you're on limited time. That would be the Usos, Roman, and the other two Paul Heyman guys, or you maybe have Cody come in, which they'll probably do for shit and giggles, and the final boss.
I think almost certainly. I'm gonna be honest. If you want to keep Cody away from another championship defense, because I don't know if this was done intentionally or if this was pure Saudi hands, but if Cody versus Gunther was done as a way so they don't have to defend the championship this month, and then next month is almost like look well, both events are next month. So pardon me for saying this month. I'm just quoting because we still in October, but Crown Jewels is November 2nd,
Yeah,
and Survivor Series War Games should be November 29th for end of the
it's
month.
the end of the month.
Right. So it's looking like for the
It's the
next two
week after
PLEs,
AEW's Full Gear. That's all I remember.
with the exception of maybe Gunther, if we including Cody, that'll be two PLEs straight that he doesn't defend his championship. Maybe three, because we're gonna add bad blood.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Was Roman defending every month?
No,
Was
but
Brock defending every month?
this is supposed to be different.
And I've been telling you, Cody ain't no fucking babyface. Unless it's gonna be either KO or Randy. Could probably be in the War Games match because, like you guys touched on a couple weeks ago, Cody might still owe Roman one. Yeah, he took out Jacob at Bad Blood, but maybe that's not the debt fulfilled yet.
Okay, and then for continuity purposes, look, I'm lost. I don't see. Did we see Gunther on Raw tonight?
We saw a video package.
Okay, and then we get Ludwig versus Sheamus. But for this Friday, because it was spoiler, we get Gunther and Cody in a tag team match with Imperium versus Cody and Randy Orton.
Can we still call him Legacy?
I mean, I don't see that. That'd be fine. I don't know why they never went like still kept that route, but
Michael Cole better drop a line on that. That's all I'm saying. Him or Graves, one of them, please. You have to.
I just feel like with some of these Saudi shows, the okay, I could say the same for King and Queen of the Ring.
It knocks everything out of the rhythm.
It does. And I don't know how far in advance they know what they're gonna do, but as a viewer, it feels like it's just dropped on us. Like King and Queen of the Ring, it just happened. Also, you know what just happened in the middle of that? It was supposed to just be King and Queen of the Ring. No, we get announced the day before. Oh yeah, and the winners get a championship match at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
They didn't announce it at the beginning of the tournament. No, no, no. From my
maybe,
memory,
maybe.
it was sprinkled in later on.
It might have been after at the first round or something like that. But
Yup.
I remember knowing that well before the PLE.
Mm-hmm. So then
And,
we
and we laughed at that then because we thought there would have been an easier way to put the belt on Gunther.
so you got two out of that King and Queen of the Ring, you got two title changes because Nia Jax went on to win and so did Gunther.
And now they're both going to wrestle or compete, for an oversized pinky ring. On the flip side, like I said, you may now have potentially two million dollar belts. Sorry, Ted.
And I feel like there's a way to get to these matches without sacrificing other things or like putting other
Now,
stories.
if this current rotation of PLEs was to come, maybe they may get in a rhythm down the road. But the King of the Ring was an interesting one. Also, again, as we learned not too long ago, that the winners of the Crown Jewel Championships, whatever they're going to be called, will be defending said championships at each Saudi show moving forward. So,
So even if it's a different branded Saudi show, whatever fucking greatest SummerSlam of all time.
yeah, any show in Saudi, those Crown Jewel belts will be eligible to be on the line. On one hand, it puts some sense of priority and purpose on these Saudi shows, unlike what the Greatest Royal Rumble did, unlike the Best in the World tournament. Now we have somewhat of a reason to be up at the ass crack at dawn to watch these shows. Well, 1 in the afternoon for you, 10 a.m. for me.
Especially if down the line, let's say, you know how Jericho used to throw around, oh, I was the first undisputed champion. Or if like people that win that could always use that as like a feather in their cap instead of just ignoring it and it's a once a year thing. Cause I think if it's once a year when it comes around, I'm just gonna be like, "Ah."
We shall see.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that PLE is like, or how things like that. Because I feel like they
It's
just
gonna
announced,
it's gonna take quite a bit of getting used to.
yeah, they announced that concept. Well, Bad Blood, we got the announcement of the championship. So it's like okay, we got a month to really soak what's about to happen in.
We learned today that the theme song is gonna be a song featuring Future. If that means anything. But again, in the long run, I'm sure knowing Triple H, it'll be fine. It's just we're in that awkward infant stage with everything.
Yeah, I think, like I said, once the Netflix deal finalizes, and once we get past some of the Rock stuff we've been waiting for, I think WWE in this whole will be at that point where they're trying to enter. Like, I don't know what's the intentions with the Motor City Machine Guns and them having the tag team championships, but if I envision is what I envision, you give me new tag team champions, but they're a veteran team. So you're showing me off rip, they came in and told the bloodline, those are the most important tag team championships in the world.
Oh, okay, so at the earliest, Elimination Chamber, maybe Mania, plausibly SummerSlam next year, everything will unfuck itself.
Maybe.
I say at the if nothing else, God forbid, nothing goes wrong, you might get everything done by Elimination Chamber, maybe. But at the latest, probably close to SummerSlam. Because again, I would assume the Netflix stuff and everything, assuming both shows jump to 3 hours, it might take some getting used to. I expect, not hope, I expect NXT to gain a shitload of steam by then. So come stand and deliver, they should be literally on par with Mania like the takeovers once were. I expect more of a WWE TNA collaboration by then. That's just me being a selfish prick. But overall, yeah, definitely by Mania season, if not SummerSlam, we should have a clear cut vision of what the landscape's going to be for the next 5 to 10 years.
I think what WWE is doing on a marketing level, on a media level is phenomenal too. Like, I just want to throw in some of the people that throughout the years I've sat here and listened to, Busted Open, Not Sam Radio. We now see these personalities on WWE, and not only are they on there, they're doing a wonderful job at storytelling. We
No
just
love
seen
for Peter
Busted Open,
Rosenberg.
but oh yeah, shout out to Peter Rosenberg too. That's my guy, Hot
I
97
mean,
for sure.
that's your local guy right there.
Yeah, he be on the Yankee radio, you know what I'm saying? With you know what I'm saying? He be there with LaGreca brother and shit, Don LaGreca. You know
I
what I'm
forgot
saying?
about that.
Yeah, Peter Rosenberg be out there with Michael K and Dawn. So big shout out to Peter Rosenberg, not Sam Roberts. They do a
Definitely, especially
wonderful.
after what I saw this weekend. A massive shout to Dave LaGreca and Bully, now also known as Bubba Ray Dudley.
Bubba. Yeah, man. It's always fun
Oh,
to see Bubba do his stuff, you know what I'm saying? He threw the glasses on, and it's just like he shows how in the switch he can go from being Bully Ray to Bubba in an instant
but
and back to Bully.
also Hershey ain't too far from Philly, and that man is like a god in them neck of the woods
And, and that brings up my
for good
point about
reason.
that brings up my point about what NXT is doing, because I don't know if you seen when Sean was on Busted Open.
Michaels,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So I thought it was bullshit. Like when Shawn Michael invited them to NXT, right? Like he's, yeah, no, you guys are invited, and to see them actually there, I'm like, whoa, like this is cool, because they giving them a platform to not only didn't they just bring them up there by name, they showed love to their platform as well. Sirius XM's Busted Open,
yeah. Like they got the whole VIP treatment.
and not just once too. I heard it a few
From the
times.
pre-show to close out the show itself.
Yeah. And this is just
Like,
from like little things I'm seeing throughout whatever I could catch up on, because I was able to breeze by, like I told you, skim by some stuff. So I don't know how often they was on the show,
oh
but
no,
whatever I seen,
it was twice during the pre-show. Oh, no, there was a few times throughout the pre-show. I think once or twice during the main show, and then Bubba came out after the main event ended and blew the roof off the place.
yeah, man.
So they kind of teased that Maybe
He
we
can't
might
be
see him again. They're going to be in the NXT arena next week. We may see him and Ridge Holland throw hands next week. Also, next week at the ECW arena, we're seeing one of the original vixens of the generations in Dawn Marie.
Mm. And I'm gonna be
We're
honest, I
also
think this is what NXT is missing right here. When I look back and think what made NXT kind of dope back in the days, it was that little dosage of veterans, the little dosage of a Dusty, that little dosage of when a Cesaro, even the main roster when Cesaro was putting on bangers on NXT. I seen the vote for the you might have a big showdown, John Cena,
we'll probably see an RVD sighting at some point. It's Philly.
man, bro.
We could possibly see the Sandman, maybe a Tommy Dreamer. I mean, shit, we saw Devon Dudley on Trick Williams' latest diss track towards Ethan Page.
Like
Excuse me, the illustrious Reverend Devon.
that we seeing William Regal back on screen. Like this is how you do it because now not only are you saying
And here's the
yeah, this is
kicker.
the smaller brand, but this is a brand where the legends believe in the talent that's
And not only are they going to be in on hollowed grounds at the ECW arena next week, all of these individuals also have. Now, I may be going too deep in the rabbit hole, whatever, but fuck it. All these individuals that have been aforementioned have ties to TNA. I'm just saying again, like I
that's a
said,
beautiful thing.
down the road, I would not put it past them to have a future club there down the road. Now, I think Regal might be the only one that doesn't have ties to TNA like the other ECW originals, but again, Charlie Dempsey does.
Mm,
The Regal name has crossed into the impact zone, so to speak.
man,
But yeah, so also for NXT, we were getting a casket match: Tatum Paxley and Wendy Chu, and I believe Don Marie will be the special guest official in that match. So again,
stuff to watch out for right there.
I'm just saying, if you thought the chaos was going to end after the presidential elections, it's going to follow through right on into the ECW arena that whole evening while they're going head to head with AEW. Also, fun fact: SmackDown will plausibly going head up against AEW as well for Friday Night Dynamite.
Say that part again about what's going on Dynamite
Dynamite's on this Friday.
on Friday.
Friday Night Dynamite. We are getting Swerve Strickland versus Shelton Benjamin. Not at Full Gear.
I'm not mad at. I mean, listen, like I said, if the plan is to bring in Bobby Lashley, I'm not mad at that. If you're not gonna bring in Bobby,
I'm
then
just I'm just saying. Again, nothing against Bobby. I love Bobby, but if that's your contest, again, you're going to be contesting against a pre-taped SmackDown. And for those that know what's going to happen to SmackDown, let me ask you guys right now: is Bobby Lashley going to be better than what you guys have already seen before we get a chance to see it? Is
no,
that going to be better than what you already know?
no, but it's not
Sorry, not sorry.
no, it's not. But the match itself is gonna have more name value when you do put Swerve and Bobby.
I'm just saying now. Granted, Tony Khan is at the mercy. No, World Series is on Fox. Huh? Wait, never mind. Fuck it. He could no. Actually, no. I'm sorry. Tony Khan right now is at the mercy of the NBA because they're just getting started right now. So when the NBA says, or actually no, with the Max deal, since that's all in the gear, whenever Warner Brothers Discovery says you're not on this date, deal with it.
Yeah, because the World Series might be done by tomorrow. I'm be honest. Dodgers got us 4-0 right now, and it's the middle of the fucking ninth, which means it's about to be the bottom of the ninth. And yeah,
Come on, Bronx Bombers. Fuck anyone with the fucking Dodgers.
I'm not gonna lie. What's sad about it? Juan Soto gave us our only hit. Yes, the only home. It was looking like it was gonna be the only hit. It was a home run, and then he was
Jazz
able to
Chisholm
get
picked the
on
perfect
base.
time to go cold. Aaron Judge picked a perfect time to go cold.
He always do this shit
Carlos
though.
Rodon broke my heart in game 2.
Yeah, he sold the bag. I ain't gonna lie.
What happened was y'all made him get rid of his fucking beard.
That's
You
the
took his
Yankees. Pro-
mojo from him.
that's the Yankees' problem. They do that to all the. That's why I don't like when they go after people with beards and shit. Like it sounds funny, but real G shit. Like you taking away somebody's swagger. Like low key. Like
Baseball is the most superstitious sport on this planet. I don't care what anybody says.
yeah, it's swaggle raggle all day.
You got to
Like
look good, feel good, play good. If you're being told what you can and cannot do as part of your routine ritual, it's going to fuck your brain up.
yeah.
Look what happened to Johnny Damon when he left Boston. That's my case. But anyways, real quick, just to wrap up the NXT stuff. My personal match of the night, aside from that beautiful main event, was the gauntlet match between Kehlani Jordan and Fatal Injection. Now, Kehlani Jordan, as the NXT Women's North American Champion, has done a phenomenal job. I thought she knocked this gauntlet out of the park because she had 3 matches essentially,
Definitely.
and she has come a long way with her ring work.
She has. Is JC
And
Jane missing something? Because I'm high on JC Jane. Like I've always.
I thought she did a great job as well.
Yeah.
All 3 of them girls did a great job. So again, like I've said many a times, I said it back in January when you and I first clicked up, and I'm saying it to this day. We're the end of October, going to November. NXT has the best women's roster in professional wrestling. And the fucked up part is all of them are less than 3 years in the game. Come on. Whoever's training them. Now we know who's training them, but they're listening and they're soaking on like a sponge. And let's not take into account that, or let's not, aside from the fact that you have now added Julia, Stephanie McCour, Zarya, formerly known as Delta. It's likely you're going to bag Jordan Grace in the next couple months.
I'm not gonna lie. Stephanie.
Her and Julia, I'm telling y'all, again, they ain't going after just anybody.
Nah. Like but Stephanie, she has that. Like Julia has it too, but Stephanie just has that look.
The thing with Julia, and this is like I told y'all before. Now Stephanie has a similar problem, but I think Julia just a little bit more. Too damn stiff. I don't know if you watch that match with the tag match with Roxanne and Cora Jade. Julia tags Roxanne and on the button with the knee,
Mm.
and they even did a couple replays on it too. And you see the right on the button.
And if you ever got rocked in the jaw from underneath, then you would know that's not a pleasant feeling.
Yeah,
Having
she got chin checked into Christmas.
Mm.
And again, I'm sure it was an accident, whatever. But yeah, great spot. But yeah, but Julie got to know, hey, I gotta take care of my partner. It's okay. Now this was on me. But also, the way they presented Zarya these on Wednesday and last night, incredible. Julia and Stephanie get their victory after Stephanie hits an amazing moonsault. Zarya is up in the rafters and they're trying to look for her. They spot her. Julia sells it like it's scared the living dog shit out of her. And then after the women's gauntlet match, her music plays again. She appears, beats the shit out of all 3 members of Fatal Infection, hits a very, very stiff F5, and then she stands tall. You have now added 3 women that are probably a Rhea Ripley wet dream right now as far as physicality. We're gonna see some shit go. And like I said,
what's her
you
name?
may have also bagged Jordan Grace. Zarya.
She looks amazing too.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not gonna lie. She looks like money. Like
yeah, she was one of the top Australian wrestlers for females. She is amazing.
I
I've
didn't
seen
know too
very
much
little of
about
her,
her. Yeah, I just heard her name coming into it, but I'm like, oh yeah, I could see why y'all felt comfortable just throwing her out there like that.
and then like I said, you also may have just backed Jordan Grace because she dropped the belt to Masha Slamovich at Bound for Glory. So you have
Mm.
4 women that hands down could be as physical, actually that can match Rhea's physicality for that matter. And
So
aside from Charlotte, Rhea is that standard bearer right now.
I just
Right
want to
now,
say one more thing. I'm gonna get off her after this, and I don't want to see her nowhere near it. But you take Zelina Vega out, you put Stephanie in as is,
don't do a
bro.
girl like that. Don't do it.
No, no,
Don't
no,
do
no,
it.
no, no. Hold on, hold on, hold on. We can't have her going to the LWO smiling. You gotta have her as is, badass, and then, bro, that should have changed the whole LWO. Like, I'm looking at them different now, off her alone, off
Would
her
it be better
alone.
for Selena if she was a manager?
Yes,
Okay,
like
that
a
I will agree to. But don't
Like
disrespect a girl like that.
what's Electra?
That's your fellow New Yorker right there. You show us some goddamn respect.
Nah, you know what? I enjoyed her more her first run before she got fired. When she was like the heel, this babyface version of Zelina, I'm really like, I like her work. I just think she's a better heel. I just think like,
You know what probably fucked that up? We all got too used to the chanclas flying around.
yeah, that was like, yeah, and then
But also like we touched on, like a lot of these smaller women. Again, it's very obvious that they're leaning towards more athletic, more physical women. And again, no disrespect to Zelina, no Alexa Bliss, what's her name, Mrs. Gargano, but they're smaller stature. You want to protect them ultimately, but also you have a growing group of women that are of in a stout size that just gonna throw haymakers. I mean, like I said, you have Stephanie, Julia, Zaria, Bianca, Jade, Rhea, Raquel, Lash,
it's
Jordan,
it's just a difference in
Charlotte,
physicality.
and
And
again,
some of them girls are unmatched in what
these
they
are some
do.
potentially some knock, and then also you got Lola, you have Jada. I can go on and on.
Like I seen a clip Stephanie did. I think it was a springboard crossbody,
Mhm.
bro. Now I know she's been in the game doing her thing. You know what I'm saying? This isn't her first rodeo. It's not like they just plucked her NIL her first man. I know that. But like just seeing it, it looks so clean compared to like the people that's learning and just might be hesitant to do it. It was just done boop, boop, bam.
Now, again, before everyone in the chat starts killing me, I would be remiss if I didn't mention the likes of Nikki Cross, Michin, Nia Jax, Naomi, and Bailey. Like I said, I can go on and on with naming women that would just throw bombs in the middle of that ring like the men do. Like I said, this is the greatest roster of women that WWE has had ever. The majority of the talent, or the majority of the potential of talent, is in NXT currently. Triple H, Shawn Michaels, you've been hearing me say this all year. When are we getting Evolution 2? The time is now.
You heard it. And I'm not mad at definitely right now. This far in the game, I think now more than ever we got the roster. We've already been having it, but right
And the
now,
girls only getting
start
better.
today. Yeah, like if you stop and have the event today, I think we're all right.
I'm calling it right now.
Appreciate you,
Uh,
Goldie. I
uh,
see you out
right
there.
now on the 20th of October, 2024, with the current problem we have now, the women's Royal Rumble will shit on the men's come February. I'm calling it right now. Timestamp it if you will. Just
Yeah,
off of talent alone. Indianapolis, you will be in for a treat come February. I may need to check them tickets whenever they go on sale. I might need to go to that one. But also, again, that main event for NXT, Trick Williams and Ethan Page put on one amazing match. Trick Williams definitely took some
I gotta
very.
catch that. I didn't get to watch that.
Ethan Page put his ass to work.
And this is something I heard on Busted Open. This now I see. I mean, I should have knew this already, but I was thinking it was more a little politically why Ethan Page is in that position. But looking at it, this is the right person to have Trick in the.
Again, if you need to put some miles on Trick, this was the perfect way to do it. Get him that exposure. Do it right. Do it safely. The only other guy that might have made it work maybe is Sean Spears. But because Ethan's already been a program with him, oh, this was money.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I'm thoroughly impressed in a possible future program with Trick Williams and, of all people, Ridge, the Redemption, formerly the Fridge, Holland. Come stand and deliver. That might be something.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't get to see the whole match of that either. But
That one was
Ridge is finding himself. Just his
Ridge.
look,
Ridge was on his Brock Lesnar shit in that match,
it looked like
and it
by
was beautiful.
appearance, he it looked like he's coming into his own.
And from what Twitter said, he got his old music back, and that song was pretty damn good too, if you ask me. I might add that to my weekly playlist. That song was a banger.
Okay, I'm not too familiar with what he had going on music wise, because most of the time I really remember him from the Brawling Brutes and shit. So
Oh,
like I
he came out with an Eric Young style like hockey mask. He looked like a killer.
I seen that portion, his little intro. I didn't get to hear the music though, but I seen the.
Oh, the music was incredible. I
Okay, I
mean,
gotta go check.
to me it's a little bit too up tempo for them personally, but again, he's a monster, and I think he's finally got the. I don't want to be rude in this case, but whatever was daunting him post the Big E situation, that's you can tell that's finally off his shoulders. He was in his bag, and he just tore down Andre Chase. And again, from the physicality to his facials and visuals, the post match stuff, that you could tell like he is slowly getting into his rhythm. And as we learned post main event, he tries to take out Trick Williams. Him and Ethan Page get into it, and Ethan says, "Okay, show me you can pull the trigger." So he drops his shot. Ethan comes in. We get what we got with Bubba Ray, which was set up something with Ridge and him in the future because Ridge was mouthing out to him specifically a couple times. Oh Lord, we've lost him, folks. He didn't mean whatever he was thinking. I'm sure he's gonna be okay. Maybe he clicked the wrong button, but I'm not sure what happened. Let's see. Yeah, as we said, his PC froze. Slight technical difficulties. Again, he and I are cooking all day and all night. He will be back shortly. But again, back to this match. Or the post match, excuse me. Ridge and Bully have a little thing, whatever. Bully puts the paws on him. Eyeballing Ridge specifically. Again, if we want to make Ridge Holland a star, I see no better place than Philadelphia at the ECW arena. Because that Shawn Michaels, you have something to Ridge Holland. We've all seen glimpses in the past. Now might be it. He's got there. He's there. And he's back. Can you hear us? Oh, oh, maybe not. Give us one moment. Yo.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Can you hear us?
Yo, 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 yo.
Can you hear us? let's see what we got. Yep.
Yo.
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Nah, I can't hear you. I can't hear. I'm trying to fix my audio right now. I don't know why I can't.
How about now?
I
Nah,
mean,
it's
now.
nah, it's something going on my end over here. I don't know. It said, "Damn, I'm screaming."
See, I can hear you just fine.
You can hear me, but that's wild. I wonder if I gotta refresh my page. Let me see. Say something.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
I don't know. Good looking, bro. Appreciate you. I don't know what's going on in the world of technology, but listen, Windows just had an update, right? I hear and see you. Thank you, brother. Salute, Captain.
I've been telling you about them tabs.
Man, nah. So look, the other day, bro, and then every time,
Cap, stop trying to hack his internet.
every time there's an update, that shit is spiked. Like it messes something else up. I don't understand. They gotta stop with the updates. Windows, stop with the updates. This is the only time I kind of preference Apple. There wasn't so many updates when I was using my Apple laptop. I'll be honest.
I
He
mean, if
said,
anyone wants to send us a couple MacBooks, I'm okay for that.
"You feel me? Like we need that in play because y'all was definitely treating me good, man." All right, let me yo Goldie, I appreciate you so much. We outside. My bad. Could you just brief me on what you was like
So,
touching
so,
on
so
before my shit like went
basically,
crazy?
I was just explaining that Rich Holland has gotten his mojo back. It's obvious that they got a bona fide possible star and another monster in Rich Holland, and I look forward to seeing what they do with him because
Mm.
he's back in his groove.
Nah, yeah, Reg, he's definitely looking like he on time, and so I don't know if there's still legs for them to have him come up and do something with Sheamus, kind of like what Pete Dunne just did. And I think right now, Reg could probably do a convincing job. See how was struggling a little bit.
I wouldn't even be opposed if he beats Trick Willie.
Yeah, I seen that also. They inserted him into the end of that match.
No, he came out and said, "I got next,"
Tough. What a way to make a statement. And I thought it was
and
refreshing.
Ethan basically told him, "Hey, you want next? All right, there he is." Put the
No, yeah,
pause
because
on
you
a
kind
little
of
bit.
see the last few
Ethan,
months, you see it.
mhm.
You see the same shit. Not in a disrespectful way, but we seen Ethan Page in the title mix for the last few months. Ever since
But
they
also
bring him
we've
in.
seen a possible alliance between Ridge and
That's
Ethan.
that yeah, when you was getting to that just now where he was like, yeah, here, finish it. And it looked like there was an alliance there. He might just help Ridge get the championship to fuck over Trick.
Again, keep an eye on that. And then you have Uncle Bully coming to make the save. But again, if Ridge is gonna do something in Philly next week, Uncle Bully gonna get something, gonna see if he's a star or not, real quick.
Again, just to double down, Bully looked good out there. Like it didn't look weird to see him out there on NXT. So I'm glad to see that he's out there with the younger talent helping him out. That's a good look for them. It's also make for a little bit must watch. Like I think I already wanted to see what NXT had to offer in the old ECW venue, but just the inclusion of what happened at the end of that, I'm interested to see what they have to offer this Tuesday.
But also, I don't know if you had a chance to watch the sidebar segments with Ridge Hall and Bubba Ray because Ridge was kind of speaking some truth to him. to Bubba. So again, kudos to him. Talked
I
about
didn't
his past,
catch.
saying, "Hey, you made a name out of like stab people in the bag, doing your own way to be champion. So you shouldn't be I'm just paraphrasing. He's like, you should have a problem with how I take my actions. You
Okay.
did the same thing, and the second time he did it, basically he just stopped and says, "That's twice you did that. Don't let it happen again." So we saw Ridge interject himself in the post match stuff. So told him again, you interfered twice. You got
What
this coming now.
what group was Rich Holland part of before Brawl and Brutes?
Nothing.
Nothing. He was just there.
He was just there.
He was just signed. Okay, so yeah, his first stint with the Brawl and Brutes, I felt like they kind of they didn't really present him the right way. Like the Brawl and Brutes were kind of like babyface at a point, but you still got them like these tough guys. I really enjoyed this mean streak he's on.
But
Like
also remember, like he kind of like took a lot of shit because the Big E situation kind of like killed his vibe for a little for a
yeah,
while, a
that's
long
that
time actually.
yeah that shit derailed him. Even they even had to do the false retirement on NXT. Remember where he
Yeah,
like fake walked away, and I guess that led into the Chase U stuff.
and then again the ambulance match was very entertaining. I mean, I'm kind of relieved that I'm more relieved that Andre Chase lost the match because I figure if he would have won it, then again, where do we go with Rich from here? I see a lot more in Rich than I see in Andre. I don't see why Chase U is still a thing, but that's neither here nor there.
No funny shit. In my head is like that's become the running joke. Like they're the university. They're where everybody goes to. Like I done seen so many people part of Chase U. That has to be like the biggest, low key, one of the biggest factions in NXT history.
Probably you got their roster of his past
Yeah,
members.
like they got this new guy. I don't even know his name, but they just had some new guy on the team too. I remember they had that other guy with the blonde hair. His name was I think Bo or something, or it was with a
Could you tell
B.
you?
Yeah, they don't have so many people. Red, Duke Hudson too, right? Like he's on there.
Duke's still there. Thea's still there.
King, I see you out there, King. Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you for tapping in. Yes, sir.
But again, hopefully they disband soon because Thea Hale needs to be involved in this progression with the women's division. She's more than
Yeah,
talented, much like an Ivy Nile.
yeah. She's falling under the cracks of being like a manager almost, where all I see her is just like being a supporting cast in the story, just almost being a cheerleader for
She has
them.
more to offer,
Yeah, I agree.
and she's still very young as well. I don't
But
even think
like
she's
we
I don't even
touched
think
on
she's 21 yet.
earlier,
To be honest,
the smaller competitors kind of have an uphill battle to face when, like,
yeah, but
not-
Thea's not that small either. With all due
yeah,
respect,
that's why we would have to see her in the ring with the like Fallon Henry also, right? I guess like she's not as small as I thought she'd be. Like I think she's a little taller than Kalani. Like some of these girls ain't as short or as big, but then you got the bigger females. Like when I seen Lash Legend in person, I was like, damn, like
she's
she's
taller than Jade.
yeah, like Bianca put her in the KOD, and I was like, nah, that's lit. Like she really had her up there. Like, and there's
Uh,
just some bigger competitors. Like we in that land again.
But I say, but definitely, if you guys have a chance to rewatch Halloween Havoc, you guys will not be disappointed.
But let's stay back to Raw real quick. Um, aside from the Bloodline storyline, what else you felt was like the big point of Raw? Because to me, that was the main stuff. Like the stuff here with Judgment Day, I'm looking at it. I seen that it was announced Damian Priest was going to take on Dom,
Well,
and I just
we kind of predicted that, and again, I thought the match was pretty good. I was very surprised with how that match finished. But before I get to that, so the blood stuff would be 1A. The rare 1B for me would be the segment that we saw a little after the at the start of the second hour mark between Awesome Truth of all things.
Goldie, I appreciate that so much. Let's go. Big W right there.
Shout out. Yeah, but our Truth is having a little conversation with Alpha Academy, talking about how much better they're gonna since they dropped Chad Gable and how happy they seemed, whatever they're sharing love. Miz approaches our Truth and essentially apologizes for everything that's happened and says he wants to basically get the band back together. Truth says sure. Maxine basically says why, and he just says, "Don't worry, I got this." They share some words, do the little handshake, their dance, and as Miz trying to go for a hug, R-Truth knocks his teeth in the next year, saying, whatever you got going YS6, I'm out. I ain't got nothing to do with it. So, naturally, I would assume this is teasing to a possible set program between a Bo Dallas and Matt and the Miz. Makes perfect sense to me, dating back to their days with the B team. And when Miz parted ways with the B team, who did he hit with the Skull Crush finale? It was Bo Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
So, and Y6 is kind of teased that with their little Twitter
And he's also part of the
teasers.
Mid Siraj.
That too.
Mm-hmm.
So they
Just
kind
playing
of
his lackey.
teased it that with a little long term storytelling with little Easter egg callbacks. I'm sure that'll be fine. And as we touched on before we went on the air, is Mr. Karrion Kross had somewhat of a different ambiance to his look this go around in the following segments.
Yeah, I really enjoyed his ambiance tonight.
And I'm not sure if you noticed, Paul Ellering has gotten a little active on Twitter going at YS6 lately.
No, I didn't peep that. But
He was
tonight,
talking
Cross,
shit. Kross is in his rhythm, whatever you want to call it. Basically telling Miz, hey, either you do whatever I say, or we take you out right now.
I mean, it was just
Uh,
something
uh,
about Cross tonight. He was shining, like even down to his tattoos. Like I never even really seen his tattoos pop like that because he always got the leather jacket on, or just like, you know what I'm saying. So like even just seeing him with the cut off shirt, the scarlet, I'm like, oh nah, the hair is. Remember, he was growing his hair, so we seen a lot of transitions throughout the weeks where his hair is like me. Now he got it back in the ponytail formation or like a slight low ponytail. I think he getting back to that look again. He's getting back to that look. I know a few weeks ago I said he need to go back to the bald head, but just seeing him tonight, I was like, nah, he could rock the long hair. It's just sometimes the Final Testament to me they look like they should be more of a dominant group, and I feel like they just floating around mediocrity sometimes. Like they're just doing nothing. They should be in the championship scene in terms of at least either cross into the intercontinental scene or AOP into the tag team scene. When Cross first came back from being fired, his first program was coming out to Roman Reigns.
this is true.
We've just never just maybe injury, yeah, I get it, but we just knocked him completely off the road that I think we envisioned him heading towards. And I don't know if that's by hook or by crook, by design, but what's going on with it? I see he still we spoke about it. He still gets the TV time, which is great. It's great. He's still getting the looks, but in terms of actual meaningful storyline, I don't you because in honesty, when I look across, you've been a failure. You've tried to get people to turn on other people, and you failed,
Well, I won't go that far because I
or
mean
it hasn't succeeded yet.
yeah,
It hasn't
but
yet.
as far as everything, it seems like especially post Vince, he's just trying to find that one glove that fits. Now he's getting to the area sizes where it's more form fitting. So I think we'll get there soon. We're not far off, especially what we saw in the tag team triple threat. But
Yeah, I
before
think
that
they got some
was
stuff going there.
before after that where we caught the scene that kind of took everyone's breath away. And by that I mean we see Jimmy Uso stare down into the parking lot, and what does he see? Of
Let me
all
ask you something.
people,
Did you see it immediately? Did you know that was Sammy and I didn't realize until they did the close up.
I honestly when I first saw him there, I thought he saw Roman and Roman was giving him one of those come here looks. That's what I thought initially. Or maybe we saw something of those, but I did not expect to see what we ultimately saw.
Mm-hmm.
And we see Solo Sokoa in the parking lot talking with Sami Zayn.
And Sammy's posture doesn't look
He looked
defensive.
comfortable. He looked
Yes.
relaxed. Looked unbothered.
Yup.
And then Jay sees him,
Mm.
and you could tell Jay was heartbroken again.
That's the crazy part right there because it's like on one hand, here you go, and I feel like Sammy's always kind of been conflicted, right? Like he's always had this in the back of his mind where he can always go a war off the rails. Like he has been a conspiracy theorist.
And in his mind, he's always doing the right thing. But after
Could
Crown Jewel, maybe even at Crown Jewel, him and Jay gonna have a little conversation.
could history be repeating itself in Solo offering a spot as the honorary Oos to
Ooh,
Sammy?
ooh. Tug at the heartstrings some more, why don't you?
That'd be crazy.
And to do it in front of Roman, Jay, and Jimmy,
And then it'd even make more sense because Jay and Sammy never won the tag team championships, right?
no, it was Jay and Cody.
So then the inclusion of Cody will like further fuel again what I was saying about you see how Randy and Kevin Owens about to have their match at Crown Jewel. I feel like if Cody works with Roman once again, Randy's gonna feel like, damn, I'm over here fighting Kevin Owens, and he's actually right. Like Cody's dead ass helping Roman again, and this is supposed to be one time only,
But also, that there's a question of who the fifth man would be.
right? Because this is supposed to be 5v5.
Could we see the interjection of the final boss as the fifth man? Can you imagine The Rock, Roman Reigns, and Cody Rhodes in that cage in the War Games match? Just them three alpha males together. You could cut the tension with a knife. Or do we see a new star enter the fold?
Yeah, I see a pump fake.
The Rock would be one hell of a pump fake if you ask me.
I could see a situation where like The Rock act like he's gonna get in the match. Like remember when Roman was sitting in the cage waiting, and he was calling the shots like you go out, you go out. We could see a similar situation where The Rock is in there calling who goes out, and at the last person, you think he's gonna go out, and he just sends somebody else, or that he will go out, but there won't be much for him to do. He just picks up the victory. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think it'll be much of a moment because another high risk match. We just putting the Rock in a high risk War Games match.
So I could see Jimmy starting that match, Jay being the next guy called up, and like Cody and Roman being like the okay, we're good. Like go ahead. And then Cody is told to go out. Then you have Rock and Roman have a little stare down. The Rock ends up being the fourth man, and Roman becomes the fifth, but Rock still steals the victory. But little by little, they'll try to plant the seeds.
The only
But
problem is we need a fifth for both sides. And okay, we kind of see Sammy falling on one
Solo,
side,
the Gorillas, Jacob, Sammy.
right? And then on the other side, but like that's what I'm saying. If you throw the Rock in there, then we will take Sammy out, or you just saying Rock is on
Sammy would be on Solo side. What I'm saying
and the Rock
would be
on Roman's side.
yeah, with Cody.
That'd be a crazy switch.
That's it. I don't know what direction they're going with SummerSlam or with the Survivor Series, but Sammy, the fact that Sammy's talking with Solo changes everything.
I think
Everything we thought was a plausibility, even the stuff I was against, that ultimately grew to say, okay, maybe that could be a thing. All that's now out the window. It's a clean slate, a level playing field. We don't know what the hell is going to happen.
I think more like what I was telling you off air. For me, what I think is gonna happen. What did Sami Zayn approach Roman Reigns to say he was? The locker room leader, the ears for him. Everybody saw. So I think he can be playing this little
But
weasel mule.
also Solo recognized how loyal and of an asset he was, and maybe he has a greater appreciation of Sammy, but also letting him know that, hey, you cross me, you gotta deal with Jacob, you gotta deal with the Gorillas. I'm gonna be nice to you. You gotta deal with them. I'll throw you to the dogs.
Right, and it's a weird dynamic because Sammy wanted to be part of Roman's bloodline.
And Solo saw every inch of that.
We,
He saw how much he craved the acceptance.
hmm So now it's like we got to see if we could get another like not angle visually, but another like look into how that conversation started. Did Sammy approach Solo, or I envision Solo approached him because Solo had to come to Raw, like
It's up for debate.
right. So it's like it's gonna be very interesting to see how they play that out, how they deliver that to us, how we gonna digest that when it comes time for. I think it's a beautiful moment though. I think like we called it, Sami Zayn had to be into the fold because if you're talking OG bloodline to me, he was OG bloodline. If I'm not
We
mistaken, he
didn't
was
think he
in
put on
before
the other
Solo.
team's jersey though. No one saw
Or
that. No one saw.
or if we talking sports talk, he's having contract negotiations right now, right? He's sitting down in free agency with the other team. He's entertaining offers. He's entertaining offers right now, to say the least.
God.
This is crazy. And never would I like again. I didn't think I would see that, but it makes sense because when you look at a lot of Solo's time in the bloodline, he was just chilling. He wasn't doing nothing crazy. It's after Sammy already left. It's after the Usos lost the tag team titles, and a year later, that after Roman lost to Cody, this is when all the issues for Solo started
Yeah.
happening. So there's a lot of valid points and a lot of like I don't want to say missing story, but there's a lot of gaps that can be filled with Solo and Sammy. Like we've really never went down that road, and now we could be. This is the start of it. This is the planting of the seeds. We see them chopping it up.
Oh boy.
And I'm gonna be honest, this is a very different Sami Zayn in the game. Like we seen the Sami Zayn, like you saying, he was craving acceptance. Could this be a more spiteful Sami Zayn? Like he wasn't really digging how Jay came at him or didn't want to take his advice. Like maybe, like you said, Sammy in his mind feel like he's right and Jay should have listened to him. Cause we
Possibly.
never really knew what was Sammy's true intentions of joining the bloodline the first time anyway, in my opinion. except until the point where it came to Kevin Owens, he had to make a decision.
Yep.
But other than that, it looked like he was cool being an honorary Uso.
Because again, he just wanted that acceptance.
Yeah. So it's a lot of stuff. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I'm actually glad that they. At first, I was having like reservations about this because I wanted to hold off and see how they're gonna include Sammy. But them giving him another like this is what the Bloodline is doing. It's giving him another story again. Remember, I said a few weeks ago, it felt like Sammy's just there, like he just going through the routine. Like there was no real character progression. Like he was always supposed to be the underdog, and you won. You're not the underdog anymore. Now we are kind of away from that. We back into actual storytelling again. Like
At the rate they could be going, Sami Zayn can end up a bigger heel than Dominic Mysterio.
I'm not gonna lie, it's sad to say this is more entertaining than him coming out and challenging Gunther and saying, "Yeah, I'm
Oh, by
next in line."
far. Because, like I said, this is something that no one in their wildest dreams saw coming. Now, regardless of what happens after this moment, but just this moment alone, I don't think anybody expected it. And I'm very excited to see where they go. Could this be talked about on Friday in a pre-tape segment? I don't know if this was teased on SmackDown during the show itself. If we'll see something happen at Crown Jewel, I don't know. I'm here for it all.
Nah, there was no Sam. There, from my recollection, there was no Sami Zayn on SmackDown. No mention of Sammy. So this was a nice surprise. Like again, continuity. Like I said, feeling like we was all over the place. That's why it's interesting to see like what backstage segments are they gonna have filmed for Friday? Because in attendance, they didn't show us no backstage segments. Most of the night, the Titantron just said SmackDown up until there was a match in the actual ring. But during the second taping, we didn't see not too many packages and nothing really.
I expect a whole lot of fucker to go down in the pre-tapes.
Actually, there was even this weird moment where when the ladies had their four-way match, we hear Jade. I think it was Jade's voice talking over the speaker, but we don't see them. Like I don't know if they was recording that live or whatever the case may be, or they just happened to play it. But they played the audio and didn't show us the video. So it was just weird. We didn't get to see. That's why like even I was reading spoilers. There was some sites that wasn't even reporting on the matter that Jay
Like, she wasn't in the
said.
stands when she's talking either.
What happened?
Like she wasn't in the stands or nowhere in sight.
Nope. Nobody came out yet. There was no like this was pre-entrance, pre any of the competitors coming out. She cut, I guess, a backstage segment, but we heard it over the speakers. Oh yeah, and before our match tomorrow at Crown Jewel, we're gonna do this, and that. Then the entrance, Lash Legend came out. That's when I had showed you the entrance for Lash Legend and them.
Interesting.
Yep. So it was interesting how they played that out right there.
I look forward to seeing the finished project because I have high hopes on that Fatal 5-Way at Crown Jewel.
Man. Yeah, so it's again, it was interesting to me how they slid Sammy in there, and I want to see how they're gonna do any backstage segment for that on Friday, if they're gonna do any. And like I was saying about people reporting on the matter, not a lot of websites were reporting on the matter that Jay Uso was referencing being strong at Crown Jewel the next day.
Hmm.
So that just shows to me how like a lot of what was going on was kind of like I think people really didn't grasp what was going on. Some did,
Or a
but
lot of
it was
times
just
they're
so
probably told in
happening.
advance that they're not permitted to cover certain topics that are meant to be a pre-tape,
Yeah,
or they lose their press pass or whatever.
could be the case. So you know, It was a few spoilers I seen were very vague on that portion. They were just speaking on the reunion and the bloodline throwing it up, but they didn't really reference what I've been referencing, and that's them being strong at Crown Jewel. Which I don't know if that was just something Jay said to say, or if they're gonna actually be there. But we shall see.
Buckle up.
Does Sammy or Jay, none of them have a match at Crown Jewel?
Not at this time.
Hmm. Bloodline has nothing going on.
You have the Fatal Five Way, the two Crown Jewel Championship matches, Seth versus Bronson Reed, uh, Randy versus KO, and what's the sixth one? Shit, that might be it. I thought there was 6 matches on the card.
Yeah, that might be it right there. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see again what direction they go with for whatever's not spoiled on Friday. Which again, if they give us something out like that'd be just genius. If WWE's like, okay, we knew that this is gonna get out there, right? But they still somehow find a way to
Oh, that's
surprise
right.
us.
So we have. Hold on. Wait a minute. What's this? As of 1 hour ago, allegedly, you also have the 6th match would be the triple threat between LA Knight, Andrade, and Mello. And on this poster, you also have the OG Bloodline and the new Bloodline featured on the card as well. I don't know if it's a match or not,
Mm,
but they are on the poster.
wow.
And everyone's post. Oh no, we're getting a Bloodline versus Bloodline 6-man tag that's now being announced by everybody. Okay.
I'm gonna be on. I'm gonna double down on saying it. After this year, I hope that Survivor Series kind of goes back to regular
Brand
form.
Warfare.
Not, and even if not, don't announce war games until the competitors say it. Like just having it announced a year in
Or,
advance.
or we can leave War Games for NXT.
Go back to it. Go alternate years or something or whatever. But like just a year, not almost whenever they announced it a few months ago, knowing okay we're gonna get war games again. It kind of like that's how I felt when I was like, oh.
It's just like it's just like the Money in the Bank, just like the Elimination Chamber. We know it's going to happen once a year. Just tell us who's going to be in it in advance.
And the match is kind of cool, but for me personally, it drags too long.
And
Like,
more for every.
yeah, you can't get a pinfall until everybody's in the ring. It's different from a Royal Rumble. At least people are getting eliminated. It's different from other matches with Elimination Chamber. You can eliminate somebody and still wait for the next competitor to come out, or everybody could come out and nobody's eliminated.
Or like AEW's a Casino Battle Royal, to where you have 21 names on the match, but the first one to get a pinfall wins. So not all 21 have to be in the match.
Different. The concept of everybody scrapping and then at the end it's kind of like I mean even last year we kind of seen it, right? Like Randy came back and they did the Judgment Day with Drew against the All Star team, I would call it,
Yeah, let's go
and it
with
was
that.
cool. Yeah, and it was cool. And then they did the spot throwing JD off the cage to the RKO.
Never got him killed. It was funny, but
But to me the biggest moment wasn't that anymore. It was CM Punk coming back.
yeah, what happened after the pay-per-view ended?
Kind of similar to this Bad Blood incident Well, I don't even want to call it an incident like it's a bad thing. Well, just a bad blood situation where, you know, this is supposed to be the first time we see Roman and Jacob lock horns in the ring officially and Solo,
The
right?
first time Jay and Roman are side by side.
And that happened when Jake came back, and then we got Cody in there, so that adds something to the story in terms of like they working together, Cody and Roman. But then it kind of gets overshadowed a little bit by the final boss coming back, because all we could talk about is speculation now. The match itself is kind of sidebar a little bit. Like
And now, could you imagine if the final boss is interjected in that War Games match?
I feel like it's almost certainly gonna happen. We in gear. We kicked into gears now, and I wouldn't be surprised if, like I've been saying a few months ago, The Rock enters the Royal Rumble and wins that shit.
We need the wise man back to explain everything because shit's getting a little weird. By a little, I mean a lot of weird.
Like I think it was you that said it. I mean, would it blow the roof off everything is if the wise man appears standing next to the final boss with that evil ass grin he has.
Again, there's a lot that they can do with it, but we gotta do something now.
Because there was also that funny period too. Remember where the wise man was saying things to Solo that he communicated with Roman that he actually didn't communicate with him,
Yep.
allegedly.
Like I said, we are here. We gotta start zeroing in on something.
Mm.
What that will be, who knows?
Like you said, it's gonna be zeroed in on soon. And I think I was concerned about the speeding up of what I seen on Friday, but now that they kind of at least gave me something I was asking for, I'm ready for the speed up.
Well, again, got no choice now.
Yeah, like this is what I wanted, so I'm ready for it. All I was concerned about was let's not miss certain details along the way.
We are so far past that now. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, because certain details that we would have wanted, like you said, it's past that. But for the most part, it's like we fucked up with the, or not fucked up, but we skipped past this, so now we're gonna give you Sammy talking to Solo. We kind of gonna add another arc to it, or another, or
Yep.
in WWE's mind, it could always be a situation where Jay can always be like, yo, we really never really like hash things out. It was just like convenient for the time. You know, we had mutual things going on that we needed to take care of, but and then we finally get that real embrace of the whole family together. That real, because even when they threw up the ones on SmackDown, I'm gonna be honest. You know what it felt like to me? It felt very much like when the Shield used to put their fists and try to get each other to like do it whenever they were mad at each other. Kind of like when Seth and
Mhm.
Ambrose was trying to get each other to do it. Now there wasn't too much resistance as that, but in terms of pace, you got Jimmy throwing up the one first, then Jay threw up the one, and then they was just waiting on Roman to throw up the one. Feel like we
Yeah.
didn't get that real like you said, like until we get the wise man and the real formalities of everything. Hell, I even always like I've been saying too a couple months ago. Solo might get kicked out his own group over there, have to come crawling back to Roman.
That's what it's looking like potentially, but again, we don't know where they're gonna go with it. Um, I don't know if it's a concern, but So we all know Rock and Roman's ultimately gonna be the end of it, but or will it be the end of it once we get Rock and versus Roman?
I
Now I'm
think
not so sure anymore.
Rock and Roman to be probably the one of the peak moments, but it won't be the end of it. It'll be a climax in the story for sure. Like it'll be like, damn, how can we recapture the mad? Remember when I was talking about movies, trilogies? It's hard for certain movies to live up. Was like I'm talking about Tobey Maguire's Spider Man. Did people enjoy Spider Man 3 as much as they did 1? Who knows? Or 2, like to some that first one hit home a lot for them. They got to see their favorite heroes and villains. Green Goblin, Harry Osborn's, the Mary, they got their favorite story, but was the part 3 as good as the part 1? Or when they bring back the Garfield version of Spider-Man, people didn't really fuck with it as much. Jamie Foxx helped it. You know what I'm saying? So when you reach that climax in the story, it's gonna be hard to live up to it. And I think that's why my issue with Solo, Jacob sharing the ring with Roman and Cody on the burner match like that. Remember, I had a little bit of issues, and I'm like, well, if we saving them, why are we throwing them in this match?
Right?
But here we are. Here we are.
What are you gonna do about it?
It's already done. Yeah, it's been done. Got to live with it. I can't wait for like kind of like how we was waiting for Solo to break apart from Roman or for Shota his own character. I'm kind of waiting for the same thing for Jacob because I know there's more layers to that, and it's kind of becoming repetitive seeing him in that role as to where I think for Solo we had to wait for Solo to grow. Jacob's ready, like in my opinion. I could be wrong, but that's just what I would think was my digestion of the situation. Solo was fresh out of NXT. He was removed that the NXT. He was just coming off, just getting into the business in the Indies. As to where Jacob's been doing this shit for what 15, 20 joints,
No, not that long. He's fairly new to it.
12. Who Jacob 12?
I said less than 10.
Really?
Yeah,
Ain't no way. So
because he got off the pin and just went to that because he wanted a way out of the hood.
that's crazy. So him and Solo probably got
They
Solo
probably they
probably
probably
got.
got put on at the same time to be
Yeah,
honest.
I was about to say that. So if they probably got put on at the same time, but now you skip Jacob from the NXT run, he look already more polished at that point coming in.
Yeah, because he took everything like a sponge.
Hmm. So it's like just off that eye test alone, I want to see more from Jacob than the current role. Even though, again, it's to be patient. Since we speeding things up, though, if we're gonna do something drastic, I think he's the power play. And if you want to make things interesting.
Or like I said, we've always joked about maybe there's a third chapter to the bloodline. Maybe that's could be Jacob with Zilla with The Rock. Who knows?
Because I'm waiting for the good old line to be used on Solo once again.
Losses
Losses
have
had
consequences.
yes. I'm waiting for it.
Karma's a bitch. And here's the crazy part: I can see Jacob giving it to him. I can see Tama giving it to him. I can see The Rock giving it to him. Everyone I can see giving it to him. I'm getting chills already.
Yeah, I'm just waiting on it. It's just a matter of time. And I feel like it'll be either the next two losses. It could either be the crown jewel loss that kicks him out, or it can be the war games match leading them to a loss.
You don't think it could happen at the Rumble or Elimination Chamber?
It can, But I want to see now if we get there, the story is going to be interesting because it'll make sense for me. Like we just said, the losses have consequences. If we get to the Rumble, what loss or what's going to happen there? That's gonna
May potentially Solo could have one more shot at Cody. Potentially, uh, maybe Rock beats Cody, and we see Solo versus Rock. Maybe Solo gets drafted to Raw, and we see him lose to plausibly Gunther or whoever beats Gunther. I don't think that's gonna happen, but maybe a lot could happen between now and then.
yeah, it's definitely gonna be fun. I feel like you said about some draft happening or shake up. It's been
And
interesting
also,
to see.
I don't remember if Solo and Gunther locked horns in NXT or not. I know they teased it a couple times. I don't remember if they actually had a match together or not. So little seed planted maybe.
Yeah, I think for the next few years, like so as long as they want to or find a good rhyme and reason, the bloodline could continue working.
Shit, they got 40 other family members that are wrestling right
Yeah,
now.
that's what I'm saying. Like it could
You
continue.
haven't even touched Ava, Nia, or Naomi yet.
The only thing I don't want to see is when these matches come around like a war games and we're just that's the only big group storyline going on. So we're gonna throw them in there. I know last year they switched it up with um throwing the Judgment Day in there, but again, I felt like that wasn't even really we didn't need that.
That was just there.
Yeah, we didn't need that. So I just because there's always again an elimination match for me. What if it would have came down to all right, it's a Survivor Series match, Bloodline versus Bloodline, but the winner there's something on the line. Remember times where there was a sole survivor, we got down to one. We don't have those moments no more. We don't have sole survivor moments. They lost on us right now. Where superstar had to find it deep down in them to pull out the victory. Right now, it's just a full out team affair, which is cool. But like I said, the actual last pinfall got to occur once everybody's in the ring. So we got to watching all of this madness so that when the actual last competitor come in, it's kind of like they got to create the madness all over again. It's not really just leading into what should be an easy victory for the last competitor. Like if I'm the last competitor coming in, this should be light work. I should be coming in like number 30 in the Royal Rumble, ready to clean house. Yeah, like it
All right,
shouldn't be
Super
like
Cena.
it shouldn't be we're about to spare another 10, 15 on the match. Like that's the tough part for me with the war games thing and it really not meaning much to me.
Down the road, would it be too much if we had the War Games match and the traditional Survivor Series 5-on-5?
I'll
Would
be
that be
cool with that.
that won't be overboard?
Nah.
Because that potentially that's 4 multi-person matches,
And
and
it'll give a
that's basically the whole PLE.
now it'll probably look weird because we're gonna have the two rings there the whole night, but it'll give a chance for maybe the females to have a Survivor Series match. And unlike war, I mean, I guess you could finesse war games, but Survivor Series they don't finesse where throughout the history of Survivor Series it might be a 5-on-5, a 4-on-4.
Or also, if you take the War Games and leave it Survivor Series, do you have Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT?
I don't like that. It can go well in this current booking, like if they really
It
have
would take some work, but again, it's one of those do they want to put the effort in the work.
right. Hell, if everybody was in agreement, why not do something unprecedented? Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT versus TNA. Have all four sides covered with representatives of the brand.
You've been asking for Worlds Collide all year.
I have. This is the best time to do it. This is the best time to do it. This is the most I've seen WWE in cahoots with other promotions.
Because I could easily name one faction in TNA that would fit beautifully into that match, and that'd be the System. Eddie Edwards and Moose have been chomping at the bit to have a shot at anyone on the WWE NXT rosters.
What's the Canadian team that Josh Alexander has now? I forgot. I can't get their name right now off the top of my head. But he has a new tag team, right?
Yeah, what the hell is it called?
Even that's a chance to bring back the Hardy Boys. Damn it.
The newly crowned TNA Tag Team Champions, mind you.
Hell, you could even have each champion. You got the Raw Tag Champions in one corner, NXT Champions in another, the SmackDown and TNA Champions in another, along with another tag team. And it's just a display of tag team greatness. That'd be
Or
crazy.
I don't know how familiar you are with TNA, but TNA made this match. The stipulated special is called Ultimate X. Have you seen that match before?
That's when the rope on top. Or
Yep.
okay, yeah, I like that match. I'm a big fan of that match.
You put that on a WrestleMania, they will love it. But you got to pick the right 6 dudes for it.
And that X Division Championship led to a future heavyweight championship, right? Or was it you could defend that?
In the early years, no. It was only until Austin Aries won it, and basically he just cleaned the division out. He just says, "All right, I'm going to call my own shot. From now on, this is option C. I surrender this belt. I got dibs at the World Heavyweight Championship next."
Okay.
But
Shout out to
before
double A.
that was just its own thing, and that match stole the show every time we saw it.
That used to be my guy right there. Barring any other controversy that man surrounds that man, his in ring stuff. I used to fuck with double A.
Oh, Austin Aries was special.
Yeah.
He was special.
But going forward though, yeah, if they include something alongside of War Games, it is called Survivor Series, and then War Games underneath. Like it's kind of like I'm looking at it brand wise. I know what a Survivor Series is. I've went to one before the War Games. I went to the one 2019 in Barclays. Like I was there, so I know what a traditional Survivor Series match should look like growing up in that era. And then I know what a War Games match looks like. 2 different things. You might as well just call it a War Games PLE. Why not?
Might as well.
I mean, it's taken away from the ambiance. I used to feel like Survivor Series was supposed to be one of those main pay-per-views or main PLEs these days I was supposed to look forward to, and it just feels like one that I want to just get over with already. I'm gonna just be honest.
I agree.
Because I'm more intrigued by the prospects of, again, if we was to do this the right way, if you have, like you said, The Rock in there and Roman leading the charge, that's how this shit should be done. If it's done any other way, I don't want to see it. And that's no disrespect. I just don't like the fucking match.
The bar's just set too high.
It is. If you're not putting actual bloodline family members alongside Roman, Jimmy, and Jay, I don't want to see fucking Cody. If you're gonna give me someone, it was somebody that's in the bloodline, Sami Zayn. If you're not giving me him and he goes to the other side, okay, that's eliminating The Rock because we got 5-on-5.
Well, then the only other 2 appropriate names would be Punk and Lesnar because of the Paul Heyman connection.
Yeah, that'll make sense in the Paul Heyman sense.
Yeah,
But if I feel like I'm not getting a Rock in there
it's
and
slim
Roman,
pickings.
yeah, it is right now at this point, because we done slow stroked introducing the. Let's say if Hikuleo is signed and we're not debuting him until far after. Let's say he doesn't get introduced until
Rumble.
Then that was a missed opportunity on having somebody in this match. That's actually,
Same could be said for Lancer Zilla.
if the intentions are to have them in the near future, then we could have just in the last few months found ways to bring them up if we was just expediting things. Like we went through the again, I'm gonna say it again. We went through this whole, I don't know what Jimmy's health was, why we kept him off television for so long, why Jay Uso, and now to some credence, it kind of looked like Rikishi had a point with some of his arguments. Maybe not the being so outspoken because his son is part of the company, but he does have a platform. He put many years into the business, so if anybody does have a right to speak on it, he does, right? And that is his son. He can speak on his son as freely as he wants. But at that moment, we all jumped like, "Whoa, what is he doing?" But he wasn't far off. And
He was just mad because he thought all they had to do for it with him was mommy.
I mean, look, if we rushing things, why we couldn't rush him and Jay at that time period? Why we had to sit through that? Through
That would have been the perfect time to do it.
That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
That makes too much sense.
Gave us, because that was a good 3 or 4 weeks of
Shit, that was almost 3 months. What do you mean?
right. I remember Damian Priest and Jay Uso. Jay Uso helping Damian Priest fight for that honor.
Can you imagine if we got this hug at a SummerSlam?
We got it out of
Roof was
regular.
already out. The roof's already gone off that place because there was no roof there. But if you have that hug in Cleveland,
Bro, I was in the building when it didn't. This is what I'm saying. Like,
it could have been so much more.
for like somebody being in the building, I don't know what they like.
It should have been more than what it was.
And later on in the night, the when Roman was out there and that embrace got more of a pop. That's what I was surprised about.
Yeah, because again, that's the one that everyone really wants. I mean, yeah, the Jimmy and Jay stuff was cool, so you could have did that whatever. But I'm not. I would have been surprised if that hug was as loud, if not more, than the Roman embrace. Because that would have been a problem for me.
But I don't think so, because it's like what we said. Jimmy had to play the bridge. Roman was not like
But like Jay touched
Jimmy
on,
had to get Jay on board.
don't no one got bigger problems than Roman than me. So the grounds are established. So when they have their embrace, that's gonna mean something. With
And it,
Jimmy, yeah, brothers fight. It is what it is.
and this is what I'm saying too. That Jimmy, we was all making a big cahoot about Jimmy costing Jay so many championships, and look, it wasn't even that hard for them to make up.
Yeah, because they fought it out at WrestleMania, and that was that. They got out of their system apparently after 10 months or 6 months.
Like, and then still went the next day after they fought at WrestleMania and spit him off the stage.
Yeah, and then now it's like, all right,
Like, I don't know. It's so many. For me, it'd have been more powerful for the brothers to embrace than the cousins. Cause and like in real, I don't have a brother, but I got cousins and stuff. And I feel like for me, if it was my brother that like we went through so much, that's the bigger embrace. But because Roman's the biggest star, and you know, but I think for me it was the
also
Usos should have been the
Jay
bigger
was the
embrace.
first one to leave.
Yep.
So like he excommunicated himself from the family. So again, him and Roman was always gonna be the bigger embrace because in his mind, he's allowing himself to be back in the family.
You see, but that's where it for me is not, because the Usos were always the Usos. Like he said on Raw, you know Yeet now. I'm Yeet. Like now they, like you said, Jay leaving caused Jimmy and Jay to be different. So it's
Right.
like to see them kind of come back to be the Usos. It's like now y'all could be the bloodline because they the Usos, but They can't be the bloodline without them being the Usos.
But they can't be the ones unless Jay and Roman are on the same page.
Hmm. And that's why Jimmy playing the bridge. I felt like he should have got more love too for the work he been putting in. It's like all the spotlight kind of just went back to Jay and
This is
Roman
the
on that one.
problem with them doing all this in less than 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Because again, the Jimmy and Jay hug that doesn't have a chance to actually get soaked in, so it's gonna fall lost in the shuffle.
Especially with the pace of everything that night. Like we was getting hit with rapid fire. First we get Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY for the to determine the contenders. Then
Then
we get
Roman comes out, Jay comes out, helps them, they fight it out. Jay comes out and super kicks everybody, and then yeah, and then the
they
Guns win.
Jimmy just walks
Usos
down.
hug, and then that's it. Yeah, it all happened just like that.
And I think
And
for
you
some of
forget
us
that
we
was
didn't
almost
know.
out. Like what happened in literally 20 minutes. We could sum it up in 10 seconds because again, it was all just crumpled together and it didn't have a chance to actually breathe and be its own moment.
Hmm. And that's my only thing about what's going on surrounding this storyline. It's fire still. I'm not saying it's not fire. It's just it kind of debunks a lot of what we've been talking about for months and kind of the trajectory. It's kind of like if they referring to innings, the last two innings just went by kind of quick.
Just three up, three down.
Three up, three down. If we gonna talk innings, because
Mhm.
again, it's not a bad thing, but it's just a little different tempo to the pace. One that I'm not accustomed to,
And
especially.
also with us watching this story for the better part of 5 years, we're used to things being so much more than what they actually were. So we're a little spoiled in that regard.
Yep. And one of those things is like the storylines for the bloodline has been we've never really seen it this rushed. And whenever they did something like a sidebar, that's just exactly what it was. We'll
And
see a
that even took
Roman.
months.
I mean, even when they did Roman versus Logan at whatever fucking Saudi shit,
Yeah, that
they,
was still like that was still 5 6 weeks of TV.
hey, we got that out the way. Boom, back to family stuff
This is what we're quicker than that.
quicker, right? Like that's what I'm saying. Like this is just uh, it's a pace that I'm not accustomed to. Like it's just crazy. Now they
Almost
do
an
a good
AW
job at
pace.
almost. I was gonna say that. That's what I was gonna lead off by saying they do good. They do a good job at reminding us what's going on, though. They keeping us on track, even though it may feel a little scattered. We still understand why these people are costing each other opportunities. We don't know why things are happening so fast, but we still know why. What's the purpose? What's the motive? What's the intent? We know those things. Cause it do feel a little odd that again, I hate when they do this where like 1 week a character says something and it feel like they sturdy on it, 10 toes down. Nah, get out my face. I don't want to see you. And then 4 days later on SmackDown, all smiles and we hear like,
They just hug it out. Because honestly, I would have expected to have Jimmy and Jay have another match where they just fight it out before they hug it out. Something.
bro, it's crazy how we were so off on both levels. I was saying a simple apology would work. You were saying they had to duke it out would work. We didn't get neither. We didn't like we didn't even get an apology from Roman to Jay. We
We
just
got it.
got yeet.
We got it. I'm proud of you. That was it. We got it. I'm proud of you. We're all proud of you. Oh
Like
Lord.
it's crazy.
I hope they got a plan for this.
And I spoke on this on Friday too. If I wanted to nitpick, I still need a reason as to what's the real reason as to why Jay said what he said about Jacob, because that costed him his Intercontinental Championship more than anything in itself, more than Jimmy coming in asking him to help, more than cause Roman ain't even care about Jay. He ain't even want him back. Jimmy had to keep trying to put the battery in his back, the bug in his head. Yo, we need help.
A part of me feels like they're not even going to touch on that line towards Jacob.
It was just a reason to have them pop up on Raw, and
I would be surprised if they explain that why that line was said.
because that would mean like, okay, you giving me it's not just being said just to be said, like you just said, like we're touching on right now. Things are not just being said. There's meaning to why things are being said.
No, I'm saying this is one of the lines where it was said just to be said, nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. That's what I'm afraid of. I need meaning behind it.
And again, that's why I'm concerned is who's actually taking the lead on this. Is it still Triple H and Paul Heyman, or is The Rock stepping in and say, all right, we're going to start trucking along. WrestleMania is in less than 6 months, guys. We got to move.
Yeah, from one that could be problematic because from the documentary, it seems like it's a collaboration effort.
Well, collaboration still requires communication. And could there be some? We don't know. But all we know is that The Rock is in a higher position of power than Triple H.
Exactly. So now it could be like Brian gets more of the favor where it's like, well, all right, this is what we going with. You got to work around this. And then if they got to do the audible once again, then we'll
Which they
cross that
shouldn't.
bridge. Which it shouldn't, but if we have to audible, then we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Well, you've been asking for a while. What's Bruce Pritchard's role? Maybe he's The Rock's second now. Triple H has Heyman. Well, Rock has Bruce.
I was trying to figure out who was that sitting next to Triple H too when Randy went back to him and Gorilla.
It might have been Bruce,
Okay.
but I didn't get a good look at myself. I just assumed because it could have been him, could have been Heyman, could have been Bobby Roode, could have been Abyss, could have
Oh,
been Hurricane.
it might have been Abyss. I think it was Abyss.
But it was the bigger guy, so I thought maybe either
Yeah,
Abyss or Pritchard.
yeah, it was Abyss. Well, I don't know that for a fact. I don't want to say, but I know how Bruce looks. I wasn't familiar with how this gentleman looks, so it might have been Abyss. And I know a bit. He cut his hair since, right?
Yeah.
Yep. So it might have been Abyss. Yep. But yeah. I mean, I'm looking forward to the next few weeks of programming for Raw and SmackDown, and especially Crown Jewel. See what his bloodline storyline takes us, because I mean, we here. We're almost at the last two. Well, not almost. We're approaching the last 2 months of 2024. In 2 months,
And,
roughly
and
eight
there's still a
weeks.
lot of wrestling to be had.
Man,
But this will be aside from quote unquote maybe uh Saturday night's main event. These are the final PLEs of the year.
this is it, chat. This is our 24 wrap up. It's been a hell of a ride. It has.
And it seems like we're nowhere close to being done yet, which is insane.
Yeah, it's crazy. And everybody continues to just like, especially like again, Final Boss was the example of taking the characters to the next level. He could have just stood with the gym clothes, the Just Bring It Brahma Bull shirt. Even the Final Boss took it to another level. We see Solo taking it to another level. Roman, Cody's attempting to. But he still. I say this about Cody. His work has been up and down, but he's still able to maintain himself in the deep end. I say that about Cody.
And also, we're seeing the likes of the Gorillas of Destiny, the Motor Machine Guns fit to WWE like a glove.
Yep. There's been a place for these tag teams all along, for these talent, that
And
it's been so hard for them to
let's not
get
forget
in.
the women of NXT just taking the world by storm.
Hmm. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a lit few months coming up, man. Um, anything else before we conclude our Raw wrap up?
Well, like I said, you got a very stacked NXT tomorrow, and this Friday it's technically SmackDown versus Dynamite.
Does Sammy have any convo? See, this is where it's hard. Unless they do a backstage segment, 'cause I feel like I was at SmackDown, see what happened.
It's got to
But
be either a backstage segment or maybe at Crown Jewel.
him and Roman have words. Like he already spoke to Solo. Does him and Roman have word? Cause I know he's trying to. Maybe he's trying to see where.
I think it might be Cody and Sammy have words,
Mm,
and Sammy might lean into, you know why I'm doing this.
mm.
But we shall see.
We shall see. Chat,
We've been dead wrong today, but I look forward to be more wrong about this weekend.
man. We gonna send y'all love, chat. Hit that QR code right there. Y'all see it? Come on, y'all. Get right with us.
Chilling at the head of the table where the bosses sit, stunning everything in sight. Whether it's in the bloodline or corporate, walk me out the arena, big smile, low, handcuffed by officers. Hold on, wait. They lost the script. We got some shooters, pow. It's off the hip. We got some shooters, pow. It's off the hip. Chilling at the head of the table where the bosses sit, stunning everything in sight. Whether it's in the bloodline or corporate, walk me out the arena, big smile, low, handcuffed by officers. Hold on, wait, I think they lost the script.